Okay, I think we're going to get started. Good evening, and thank you all for joining us for the College of Engineering Technology's Alumni Rising Star Awards. My name's Katie Coyne, and I work in RIT's Alumni Relations Office, and I'll be one of your hosts this evening. Before we kick off the program, I'd like to review a few housekeeping items. This evening's program is hosted via the Zoom webinar platform, where only our panelists and hosts will be broadcasting via video and audio. The audience will be muted. Panelists will need to unmute their microphones when promoted on screen. If you have any questions or if you would like to share any positive messages of congratulations, feel free to enter them into the chat, which is located at the bottom of the screen. This award ceremony will be recorded and will be made available in the upcoming weeks. You'll be sent an email with a link. If you have any technical questions, please feel free to type those into the chat box as well, and we will do our best to get you the appropriate answers. Also, each honoree was sent a celebration box delivered to their home, which included their personalized award and other RIT swag. Please feel free to show it during the program. With that, I'm very pleased to announce our MC this evening, Laureen Cook, who graduated with a master's in telecommunications engineering technology from the class of 2007. And Laureen is our 2021 College of Engineering Technologies Distinguished Alumna. Laureen is Executive TMTS Advisor of Extelcon Consulting. She is an alumna of the World Bank Group, a founding director of the Global Telecommunications Women's Network, and is on the board of director of Rising Tides 3, a European angel investment fund providing financing to female-led startups. As an industry veteran with 25 plus years of telecom and satellite industry and investment experience, she has held executive and board of director roles with some of the world's leading operators, including MTC Vodafone, which is now Zain in the Middle East, Deutsche Telekom in Germany, Cable and Wireless in the UK, and 9X USA, which is now Verizon. Last but certainly not least, Laureen is a founding director of several joint venture European and Asian wireless companies and was a partner at KPMG Consulting in the UK. We're delighted to have Laureen join us this evening. Please join me in welcoming her.
Thank you, Katie. Good evening and welcome to the College of Engineering Technology Alumni Rising Star Award celebration. I'm thrilled to be your MC this evening. Even if the current pandemic is keeping us from celebrating in person, it will not deter us from showing you how proud CET is of the 2020 class of Rising Stars. We gather here tonight virtually to honor 5 alumni for their extraordinary accomplishments, exceptional service to RIT, especially to the College of Engineering Technology. I especially want to welcome our 5 honorees and their families and friends who are watching tonight across the country and internationally. In 2020, RIT's alumni base surpassed 135,000 alumni around the globe. Since inception in 2018, the Rising Star Award has recognized alumni whose professional success, personal achievements, and community leadership has brought them recognition and honor to the College of Engineering Technology. RIT's co-op program and mentorship or relationship with the faculty or staff member has played an important part in their career development. RIT has created an environment that allows students to make lifelong connections with faculty and staff. CET's innovative academic programs challenge our students across multiple levels and prepare them to graduate as lifelong learners. You will see this as we introduce our alumni later in the program. It is now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Ram Kumar, Dean of the College of Engineering Technology, Dr. Ram Kumar is a mechanical engineering graduate from India, holds a master's degree in manufacturing engineering from RIT, and a doctoral degree in systems science from SUNY Binghamton. Over the past 29 years, Dr. Ram Kumar has held various teaching and administrative responsibilities, including department chair and mentor of the college tenure track faculty. In addition, Dr. Ram Kumar was instrumental in establishing the advanced manufacturing and electronics packaging laboratories within the college. Dr. Ram Kumar officially became Dean of the college in May of 2019. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Ram Kumar to share some words of congratulations on behalf of the college. Dr. Ram Kumar.
Thank you, Laureen. Good evening, everyone. Laureen, congratulations to you on your recognition as our distinguished alumna as well. Although we cannot be together to celebrate in person, I truly didn't want to miss the opportunity to have the celebration virtually because we need to recognize the accomplishments of our Rising Star alumni that are here today. Tonight's award celebration is really special. We honor 5 alumni who graduated within the last decade, voted as rising stars by their faculty and staff from each of their departments. This award recognizes the distinctive achievements of these 5 alumni, and they remind us of the commitment they made as students. They have pursued careers in their field of study and have brought recognition not only to their organizations where they work, but also to the departments from where they graduated. Our 2020 Rising Stars are local, national, and international. Since we have a range of engineering, technology, and applied science majors, the jobs that some of our Rising Stars are doing today range from packaging engineering, construction management, printing machinery, managing world's power grid, and also developing long-lasting energy storage systems. They're all involved in helping shape the world's future. They're leading us towards what is next. Tonight, we also honor the mentors, professors, staff, classmates, and other alumni who have helped guide and inspire our awardees. The hallmark of RIT and CET has been the lifelong connections we have built. Our alumni exemplify our commitment and dedication to experiential learning and academic excellence. I'm really proud of our RIT community and the CET family and the impact we make in so many people's lives in so many ways. CET alumni are the true backbone of our college, and it's a true pleasure to honor those who I will know will inspire others to follow in the great tradition of CET spirit. And I'll leave you with our motto. CET's motto is every student counts. And as part of that, we will be developing some mentorship programs. So I'll be leaning on some of these rising stars to serve as mentors for our students. With that said, thank you all and congratulations again. And I'll turn it over to Laureen.
Thank you, Dr. Ram Kumar, for your inspiring thoughts. Now on to the awards. As we proceed, I will announce each award recipient and share their short bio. Then a faculty member will follow to share their experiences with the awardee. After the faculty member finishes, the awardee will be asked to share a few words with us. As a reminder to the audience, please feel free to share your messages of congratulations and comments in the chat. Our first honoree this evening is John Albers, Packaging Science alumnus from the class of 2010. John is the manager of cookie packaging engineering at the Ferrera Candy Company, an affiliate of the Ferrera Company, an industry leader in the US confections and one of the fastest growing confections companies in the country. John is also the founder and president of Stay Level Avionics, a global leader in flight simulation hardware, engineering, consulting, where John says is his real passion. Before joining Ferrera in 2019, John started his career and gained invaluable skills working abroad in London, Munich, and Chicago at Kraft Foods, which is now Kraft Heinz Mondelez International. While in his multiple roles, John was the lead packaging engineer on global iconic food brands such as Philadelphia, Tassimo, Planters, A1, and Grey Poupon. Most recently, John was the senior product manager for the 6500 brand at Have, a global leader in logistics, supply chain management, analytics, and packaging for the food services industry. He currently resides in North Chicago with his wife and 3 children. In his free time, he enjoys promoting general aviation safety and proficiency through his numerous contributions, as well as sharing his passion of general aviation with others. John shared the following thoughts about RIT. Ultimately, RIT continued to establish the foundation from which I was able to catapult my success into multiple facets and areas of life. It was and still is an incredible, well-rounded education that taught me valuable skill sets in marketing, design, consumer insights, accounting, finance, economics, and of course, packaging. Without the skills and experience learned from the faculty and friends, I wouldn't be able to achieve what I've done in my first 10 years away from RIT. I hope to achieve even more in my next 10 years. It is now my pleasure to introduce from the Packaging Service Department, Professor Tom Kausch, who joins us from retirement to share a few words about John. Professor Kausch.
Good afternoon. Thank you for inviting me to be a part of this exciting event. I first met John in the 2007-2008 academic year. John was enrolled in the flexible containers course I taught that winter. I am sure we all fondly remember those trimester days back then. We've heard during Laureen's introduction of John that his packaging responsibilities touch many types of products. Food appears to be one of John's major product items. I like to think John started his food packaging career in that flexibles course. I recall one assignment that required students to travel to a store in search of unique, flexible packaging in the marketplace. While most students centered on industrial packaging for its robustness and other uniqueness, John chose to analyze a stand-up style package for salad croutons, which at the time was just appearing on the shelves. Needless to say, John had an eye for something different that would carry through to this day. As an instructor, one looks for students who are conscientious, dependable, and analytical. John was such a student. Sometimes it is difficult to single out or remember a particular student after so many years. With John, this was not the case. Always ready to raise a hand to question a concept or to understand a point, and eager to help lab partners when the occasion arose. That was John. I am fortunate to have had John as a student in other packaging courses as well. Besides the academic setting, I was able to see him interact outside of the classroom. As a faculty advisor to the RIT student chapter of the Institute of Packaging Professionals, I got to witness John's passion for packaging. To the best of my recollection, he never missed an opportunity to take advantage of local packaging industry tours sponsored by the chapter. Many of those tours were suggested by John. His thirst for packaging knowledge was very apparent. I'm sure these traits and behaviors were learned early on at home and at school, and I am sure they have played a huge role in the success he enjoys today. In closing, I'd like to congratulate John and the other Rising Star recipients honored today. Their dedication to their careers and families have made RIT proud of their accomplishments. Thank you. And now I'd like to turn it over to John for any comments you may have.
Yeah, hello. Thanks, everybody. Dr. Ramkumar, Lorraine, Professor Kaush, the entire faculty of the RIT College of Engineering. Thank you very much for this tremendous honor. Wow, hearing about all these different things that I'm engaged in, husband, wife, or excuse me, husband, I got a wife, husband, father of 3 kids as well, it keeps us busy, right? Nick, Dave, Lori, Tyler, congrats as well on your achievements and Rising Star accolades also. But, to me, it's over 16 years ago, I was making this trek across Canada from Michigan to RIT to come and look at what RIT was. I knew I wanted to be in product package design, but I didn't know what to expect. And landed at RIT and Professor Karen Proctor, she was from Michigan as well. And we had an amazing connection. And I started to learn more about what this packaging was all about, really more what the university was about. And I really fell in love with it ever since. It was a fantastic place for me. It was just the right size. The professors gave so much attention to detail, and they created an environment that I just wanted to keep contributing. As Professor Kaush mentions, the acceptance of everybody was just really, really solid. And so I'm blessed with being able to have RIT on my resume. Everybody I've ever spoken with that was at RIT, and anybody I've ever run into, whether it's an airport or wherever it is, they always speak so highly of RIT. And I've never heard any bad things about RIT. And it really is in my opinion, this hidden gem within the US from an educational perspective. It's great. I just hope that I'm able to give back more than I've received, really, as I play out my career, and how I can continue to do that at RIT, I believe gives us the opportunity to do that. Just want to thank everybody for this, and congrats again to all the nominees here this year for the Rising Star accolades, and just thank you again for everything you guys have given me.
Thank you, Professor Kaush, and thank you and congratulations to you, John. Our next awardee is Tyler Grandahl, Electrical Engineering Technology alumnus from the class of 2011. Tyler describes himself as a passionate engineer and builder, addicted to solving challenging real-world problems by bringing new and disruptive technologies to market. While at RIT, Tyler co-opted at Automotive X Prize in Madison, Wisconsin, where he conducted his undergraduate research in Li-ion battery life cycle testing, and in power electronics at Tesla Motors. Tyler's co-op at Tesla Motors led to a position at Tesla after graduation. As an electronic design engineer in power electronics, Tyler was promoted to senior electronic design engineer in little over 4 years. While at Tesla, Tyler designed electronics that were used in the Model S car. He also led research and design efforts to help understand and counteract complex, lifetime critical electromechanical interactions between traction inverter, motor, and gearbox for the Tesla Model 3. Tyler returned to the East Coast, to the Boston area in 2017, joining Boston Dynamics as a hardware engineer. There, he designed and produced hardware for the Handle V2 fleet and conducted research on solid-state branch circuit protection. Tyler left Boston Dynamics in the fall of 2019 to become a principal electrical engineer at Form Energy, where he supports the modeling and optimization for the electrical elements between the cell and grid, as well as supporting the preliminary design conceptualization for the proprietary control requirements of cell technology. Tyler shares this about about his RIT experience. RIT gave me the tools and flexibility that I needed to find and prepare for a career that I was passionate about. The knowledge, experience, and connections I graduated with all came together to launch me into a fantastic job right out of the gate. It is now my pleasure to introduce Professor Clark Hochgraf from the Electrical, Computer, and Telecommunications Technology Department to share a few words about Tyler. Professor Hochgraf.
Well, it's my pleasure to tell a little bit about the background of how I met Tyler. So when I started at RIT in 2008, Tyler was one of the students who really stood out. It's interesting. I had Tyler in class and then immediately just recognized that he's just a really wonderful, wonderful person, wonderful engineer. And so I invited him to come work with me on a summer undergraduate research project to design a life cycle tester for batteries. And Tyler did everything, top to bottom, all the circuit design, fabricating the circuit boards, fixing machinery. And I'm chatting with him over the summer and he's telling stories about how, he's building his own CNC mill for fun. So when it came time for graduation, his family was just a wonderful, warm family, invited me to his graduation. And his mom, Kathy, was sharing stories of early years from Tyler. And so there's a few pictures here. Tyler always had a fascination with mechanical things. So he's playing with a vacuum. They went out, the family went skiing and they didn't have Wi-Fi. So in the bottom center, there's Tyler building a special antenna so they could have Wi-Fi at their ski lodge. So he's always been a builder, and that really comes through. During his time at RIT, he worked on the undergraduate research project. He helped out on Richie's Ice Cream Experience, which is a big display for Imagine RIT, and came in and helped us solve a problem there with setting up a solar system, and that was our solar power system for that. Tyler did so much work over the summer. We wound up doing a conference paper, and he presented that for the American Society for Engineering Education in Vancouver in 2011. And so I got to know Tyler through all his experiences, and then I had a friend who was working on the Automotive X Prize, and they were looking for someone who could just jump in and immediately get started. And Tyler said, "Oh, that sounds interesting, so I'll do that." So he went out to Wisconsin, joined up, and started working for a group called 2G Automotive, and worked on that Automotive X Prize project. And I talked to Hal Glenn, who was the manager and founder of the company, about Tyler getting this award. And he says, one of my biggest regrets is that we weren't able to keep Tyler here. He says, after that experience, Hal would always come back to me and says, "Do you have any more Tyler students? Do you have any more students like Tyler?" So when Tyler was there, one of the things he did that Hal was telling me was Hal has a 1970s TR6 and they had a little free time. So Tyler decided to take some spare parts he had and convert the car to fuel injection just because he happened to have the parts. That was always sort of an amazing thing that he was able to do. I was looking back at the review. You can see Tyler working in the lab that I wrote for his summer internship. And what I wrote then was that he was creative and inquisitive, hardworking and humble. And over the years that I've got to know him, I've realized, how lucky I have been to have met him and to be able to keep in touch with him. It's really been a pleasure working with you, Tyler, and it's a pleasure to be able to count you as a friend. So I welcome you now and hand it over to you to speak.
Thank you, Dr. Hochgraf, for this award and for your kind words, and everyone in CET. I'm honored to be a recipient of this, and that you think of me as deserving of it. But perhaps more importantly, I need to thank you for preparing me for this journey that's led me here. As I think your stories indicated, when I went to RIT, I kind of knew that I had a general interest in electronics. I knew I enjoyed building things, but I didn't really know what I wanted to build yet. And RIT helped me find that, helped me find a career that I was passionate about. And when I did find that, which was really, the motive that I needed to be successful professionally and academically, you helped prepare me for pursuing that. Even though there was no directly relevant coursework for it yet, it was through that academic flexibility and independent studies and unique work experiences from those professional connections and getting to the X Prize and meeting all of these people outside of the school that really got me into the position, a very unique position, really, to take the path that I did when graduating, and get to do what I found that I really love doing. So, and this is something I've gained a growing appreciation for since graduating, for sure, as I meet more and more graduates from other universities who didn't have a similar experience. So I'm very thankful for this. So thank you, Dr. Hogarth. Thank you, everybody in CET.
Congratulations to you, Tyler. Our next awardee hails from the other side of the Atlantic, specifically in Germany, my second home. Nick Gawreluk is a media arts and sciences alumnus from the class of 2013. Nick is currently the Global Sales Operations Manager for Software Solutions for Heidelberger. He is responsible for global business operations and the he is responsible for global business operations and the achievement of business unit sales targets for the company. Nick has been responsible for transforming 1,000 customers across 50+ countries into a B2B software subscription model, overachieved annual global revenue targets, and created a $1 million US plus in monthly reoccurring revenues. Prior to Heidelberger, Nick spent 3 years at Hewlett-Packard as both a business planning manager and category manager for HP Indigo consumables. Nick co-opted at Heidelberger for a year in both Germany and Brazil, and also co-opted for Mimo in Memphis, Tennessee, and also in Berlin, Germany. Regarding RIT experience, Nick shared the following. A degree at RIT's College of Graphic Media Science and Technology provided me with a world-class education and network of professors, alumni, mentors, and lifelong friends. This platform has made all the difference in enabling me to pursue my passion for the printing industry across the globe. It is now my great pleasure to introduce Dr. Bruce Myers, Administrative Chair of the Graphic Media Science and Technology Department, to share a few words about Nick. Dr. Myers.
Thank you very much, Lauren. It's a pleasure to do this introduction today. When I think of Nick Gawreluk, I think of the Latin phrase carpe diem, which is generally translated as meaning seize the day. This is because throughout his life, Nick G, as he is widely known, has done his best to embrace the opportunities that each day presents. Although some think carpe diem means to take advantage of today's opportunities with little regard for the future, I think of Nick in the less pessimistic definition of the term, as Nick's penchant for seizing today's opportunities always has an eye on the future. In fact, his actions are the epitome of continual improvement and long-range planning. There is a great deal of talk in higher education today, RIT being no exception, about qualities like grit and entrepreneurship. University administrators recognize that curriculum in all disciplines should work to instill these qualities in students. Nick was well ahead of these trends. In fact, he already embodied these qualities before joining RIT. An entrepreneur at heart, as a child, Nick started his own lawn care and snow shoveling business. Nick also has a penchant for discounting naysayers and displaying his grit. When a primary school teacher suggested that Nick was not up to the work in a particular class and should move down a level, he took this as a challenge, redoubled his efforts, eventually excelling in the topic. This is the very definition of grit. A self-described print geek, Nick was active in leading high school graphics programs in his native Minnesota and overcame challenges to attend an RIT summer publishing and advertising workshop for high school students. Here, he felt at home among other students of similar interests and chose RIT for his academic career. A very wise decision, but his work was just beginning. While at RIT, Nick was an especially engaged student, continually networking and building toward his career. For example, as a student, he authored articles as a contributing writer for Printing Impressions, the leading trade publication in the industry. As mentioned, he co-opted internationally, including at Heidelberg, a 2.5 billion euro company with over 11,000 employees, offering products and services along the entire process and value chain for printing products. Best known as the largest global manufacturer of offset printing presses, Heidelberg's offerings today extend to consumable products and software relevant to all aspects of the printing operation. After graduating from RIT in 2013, Nick assumed the leading job at HP, working with the Indigo digital printing press offerings, eventually rejoining Heidelberg, where he relocated to Germany. He currently serves as Global Sales Operations Manager at their Baden-Württemberg headquarters. Today, Nick is leading Heidelberg's efforts to reimagine their extensive software distribution as they partner with the leading printing organizations around the globe while maintaining their leadership position in the marketplace. In his spare time, Nick is pursuing an MBA, but always has time to reconnect with his alma mater and is ever eager to talk to our current students and provide mentorship, including an event planned for later this term. He fully recognizes that networking is a two-way street and connects with individuals and organizations across the industry. I can think of no alumnus more deserving of this honor. I am proud and honored to congratulate Nick and all the awardees today and introduce Mr. Nick Gawreluk, RIT class of 2013.
Bruce, thank you so much for the kind words and sharing my story. I'd also like to extend thanks to the Dean for his opening remarks and support of this event. Certainly Katie for all the great effort she helped to put on the event, and Lorraine for being a great host. I can say it's a true honor to be considered for such an award, and I'm grateful to be a recipient. You know, I was thinking to the weeks leading up to this event, and what to me makes this so special is the celebration of everyone on this Zoom call. What do I mean by that exactly? Each of you on this call has provided tremendous support and left a positive impact on each recipient. And I'm confident to say that we would not be here today without it. So please join me in a short round of applause for everyone on this call and the support you've provided. Attending RIT was one of the best decisions I've made in my life. And looking back, I can truly say it was destiny. I went to school in St. Paul, Minnesota at Roseville High School, and little did I know that was the best graphic arts program in the United States for high schools. I was blessed to be introduced to a great teacher, Brian Hogue and Dick Karen, and they showed me everything that the printing industry has to offer and gave me the opportunity to run the student printing business, which we actually ended up my senior year doing over $250,000 in sales. The journey there went to the summers where I would intern at local printing companies in the Twin Cities, and one in particular, Advanced Web. I'm grateful to have gotten to know the CEO, Kip Caldwell, who was also an RIT alumni, and he very graciously offered his mentorship and writing my letter of recommendation in the university. I'm also blessed to have crossed paths with Marcia Carroll, the junior year of high school when I decided to fly out to RIT and attend the College and Careers program, which was such a phenomenal way for the university to introduce high school students to everything that they have to offer. And I'm also so thankful for my family, my high school girlfriend, my now wife, Kelly, and my in-laws as well for the support they provided over the years. Looking back at RIT, I can think of 3 key takeaways that that experience has provided me. And these are lessons that I've actually used to help guide me today. Number 1, pursuit of excellence, holistically speaking. So not only academic, athletically, but also as a member of the community. RIT certainly set the bar high. They challenged me to show up every day and give it my all, strive to be the best version of myself, excuse me, and make the most of every opportunity. I can think of a few specific examples. I was the production manager for the RIT Reporter magazine, and the editor-in-chief at that time, Maddie, she really drove us hard. Not only were we the only student publication in the United States to have a weekly 32-page magazine, but she wanted to make sure every week that we produced the best content out there. And I'm proud to say that we won the Pacemaker Award in Orlando, which is unofficially known as the Pulitzer Prize for Student Journalism in the United States and Canada. I was also a member of the cross country and track teams during my time. And 2 good friends on this call, Kenny and Nate Huff, they really pushed me every day to be the best athlete that I could be. And, you know, cross country and track is not a social club. We were putting 80-mile weeks, running sub 5-minute miles in workouts. And the team really came together and we went to the national meet multiple times. I have to say that the professors, the administrators, the co-op and career services members, they showed up every day and gave us their all, and they expected that in return. They set the bar extremely high for us, and that really made all the difference. And beyond all that, I think they went above and beyond and were there to be almost a family away from home for me. So I'd like to say thank you to Mr. Whitaker, Michael Reardon, Marcia Carroll, Frank Cost, Barb Burkett, Lila Cummings, Shauna Newcomb, John Eldridge, Christine Husner, Chris Bondi, Maria Richard, Bruce Myers, and Frank Romano. And I'll never forget walking into Frank Romano's class. You want to talk about setting the bar high. He told us, you're going to publish a book within a few weeks. Let's get to work. Second lesson was to dream big. When I had to decide what co-op I wanted to do, I said, Heidelberg is a dream company, over $2 billion in sales. I know 0 people there. They're headquartered in Germany. I would love to get there. And thinking of all the professors and mentors at RIT, no one said, Nick, that's a crazy ambitious task. Maybe you should tone it down, do something locally. If anything, they doubled down and supported me. In particular, Michael Reardon, Frank Romano, Frank Cost, and Maria Richard as well, to pull up those logistics. The third lesson is to give back. I've mentioned community a lot in the speech. Mentorship is so important to me, and that's definitely a lesson that's been distilled over my time at RIT, is to give back to the community. I think to a large extent, I'm the same kid that my parents dropped off in Rochester, New York at 18, freshman year. I'm really ambitious about the printing industry. That's where my passion is. I'm eager to work hard, and I want to do my best to help make a lasting impact in the industry and the community around me. So I really appreciate everyone who's been on this call to support me. I'm a proud alumni, and I look forward to giving back to the university in every aspect that I can. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Myers, and congratulations to you, Nick. Our next awardee is David Collins, Civil Engineering Technology alumnus from the class of 2018. While at RIT, David made the Dean's List on 4 occasions and was AGC Education and Research Foundation undergraduate scholarship recipient and received the RIT Excellence in Student Life Award in 2018. David co-op for his current employer, Wellever, while he was a student at RIT, and as a student was involved in the following projects: the University of Rochester's Frederick Douglass Building renovation, the University of Rochester Wegmans Hall, RIT's Magic Spell Studio. He's currently a project manager at Vellever and has been involved with these projects since graduating at RIT. Assistant Project Director, RIT's Magic Spell Studios, and Project Manager at Cornell University's North Campus Residential Expansion. Dave shared the following about his RIT experience. The best advice I ever received at RIT was to get involved in something. This led me to the RIT design building team, and ultimately to a career in construction. The design building team and the people in the RIT community truly impacted my life. The graciousness, experience, and knowledge that RIT community shared with me has been so impactful to my success at RIT and far beyond my graduation. It is also now my pleasure to introduce from the Civil Engineering Technology, Environmental Management and Safety Department, Professor Maureen Valentine, who will share a few words about David. Professor Valentine.
Thank you, Laureen. It's my honor to say a few words about David Collins. I had the opportunity to teach David in the capstone course, but really it was the joy of working with him as a student leader that made a lasting impression. Based on my experiences and input from other faculty, we would describe him as smart, professional, courteous, helpful, and kind, a genuinely nice person. It's those traits in combination with outstanding knowledge and skill that have earned in this recognition today. I see David as a relationship builder and strategic leader. He effectively creates a vision of the future for the organization or group that he is leading, giving his team members a strong sense of purpose. But he's also strategic in that his vision typically includes change or growth. As an undergraduate student, David's leadership developed and was demonstrated in a variety of roles, from intramural captain to design build team captain to chapter president for the Association of General Contractors, AGC Student Club. In each case, he was well organized, calm under pressure, and very effective at encouraging all to participate and grow within the organization he was leading. As president of the AGC student chapter, he increased student involvement, broadened the type of events that were planned by the group, and partnered with the student leaders in the student chapter of the American Society of Civil Engineering. Under David's leadership, the two organizations more clearly defined their value to the students, increased the number of joint events hosted by both groups, and drastically improved the environment within the department. David's hard work within AGC and the design build team for the ASC competition contributed to some victories for the RIT teams and probably some great memories too that I'll let Professor Dunn mention. His leadership went beyond his student involvement and spilled into the co-op experiences he had while attending RIT. In his position with Welliver, he accepted and excelled at responsibilities such as managing submittals, managing RFIs, and coordinating subcontractor activities, all which traditionally would be done by a more senior project manager. Dr. Bao described how David contacted her and created great opportunities for technical tours for her steel design class while he was on co-op working at the RIT Magic Studio. He used his after work hours to guide the tours and explain the details of construction process and challenges of the project to the steel design class. The technical tour provided the students with the valuable real-world experience and reinforced what they were learning in class. Clearly, Welliver believed in David's potential as they hired him on at graduation to serve as a project manager for important projects here on RIT's campus and currently on Cornell University's North Campus Residential Expansion Project. David, we want to recognize you for the tremendous career you have had so far, and thank you for modeling such valuable behavior by sharing your experience with the students. We believe you will continue to flourish in your career and make the RIT Civil Engineering Technology program proud. And now I want to pass it over to Professor Dunn, Emeritus Professor in the department. Todd's joining us from retirement to share a few memories about David.
Thank you, Maureen, and thanks everyone for having me here. While David was in several of my classes, he left his lasting impression on me when he served as leader of the student teams that participated in the annual Associated Schools of Construction. Maureen mentioned he was captain of the design build team, but he was also president of the AGC Student Club, and that dovetailed into his involvement here. For years, RIT had fielded 1 or 2 teams for this event, annual event. Each team is comprised of 6 students. During David's 5 years of involvement, he grew student enthusiasm to the point of us sending 4 teams to the event during his 4th and 5th years. And no other school in our region, the Northeast region, which is comprised of 17 schools. No other school had ever sent 4 teams to this event, but David got it in his mind that we should do it, and he made it happen. He drummed up student enthusiasm for the event and even orchestrated tryouts. We had never had that level of enthusiasm before. And more importantly, David pretty much single-handedly took fundraising to a new level. We were pretty much self-funded for this. We raised money from local contractors, didn't really use any of RIT's funds for this. And one of my initial concerns was the prospect of sending 4 teams and what it would cost. But David basically just took care of that. He took fundraising to a new level. He put those concerns to rest. I remember we had never done this before. He made a request directly to President Dessler for some help, and we got it. Part of the competition is an oral presentation for each of the teams, and it was David's idea to invite Rochester construction professionals on campus for a trial run to serve as mentors to the teams as they prepared. He pulled that off, and it clearly helped. You can see from the photos that under David's leadership, we captured first place for 2 of our teams in 1 year. And during David's 10 years, we did very, very well in the competition. So it seems totally appropriate that David be recognized as a rising star for College of Engineering Technology. So David, thank you.
Wow, this is very, very humbling for me. I really appreciate everyone being here, and thank you to Professor Valentine, Professor Dunn for the really kind words, and then to Dr. Ramkumar, Lorene, and then Katie for getting this event organized, hosting, and all the logistics associated with that. I'm really grateful this could take place this year. It's nice to see. I was scrolling through the list of attendees, and there's just so many people here to support me, and I really appreciate that, from professors to my family, my godfather, close mentors. It's really nice to see everyone on. This award, to me, it means a lot to me, because it just shows that a university that kind of took me in as a kid fresh out of high school and not really sure where I wanted to go, allowed me to put all the effort I wanted into something, and all the people around me would support me in all that effort. And the professors, I just can't say enough good things about professors. Always have the door open. It's more of a personal relationship than it is, a relationship with someone who's teaching you your classes and just going through a day-to-day basis. So that and alone, that RIT recognizes this, to me is a great honor. I really appreciate that. How I got here, my dad always likes telling this story when we're out, and I never realized it when it was happening at the time, but apparently he did, and my parents did. And I would play in the sandbox when I was 6, 7 years old. My dad would dump just this huge pile of sand in the backyard, and I just build things with it. And I went through middle school and high school and was trying to figure out, what do I do for college? It's one of the toughest decisions ever, especially for someone so young. And I just chose civil engineering. It seemed logical, and little did I know, 5 years later, I'd be building buildings and just on a way bigger scale, but still playing in my sandbox. And, you know, getting to this day has been a nice journey, and been really enjoyed it. And RIT just played such a huge part in that for me, and everyone in the RIT community. I just want to thank, a few people and organizations that have been really helpful to me. My company, Welliver, they gave me a co-op, and I did all my co-op blocks with them. I worked part-time with them when I was still in school, and they hired me 8 months before I even graduated. The people at Welliver are just so good and knowledgeable, and it's just a continuation of the environment I had at RIT. And a big thank you to the RIT CET EMS staff and faculty, all the professors. Everyone in that department is just so great, and they've given me so much over the years. Professor Dunn, thank you very much for the nice words, and all of your help over the 4 or 5 years of my involvement in the design build team. I know we had a lot of time spent in your office over those times, making sure we were making everything happen. Appreciate that. I really want to thank Holly Holovinsky, who started as an advisor that I met, and in the design build team became, a friend, a very close mentor. I still talk to her all the time. I know Holly's on here today. We work together to help advise the student teams still. And I really enjoy, still calling her and talking shop and having that person to be able to talk to. And then the people so close to me who've always supported me, my godfather, who's on here today, my brother, Matthew, and then just most of all, my parents. Can't thank them enough for the support over the years. They definitely have been instrumental and probably the most supportive people in my life. And then just, again, really appreciative of this. Thank you very much, everyone. It's so nice to see some faces I haven't seen in a while and some names, and hello to everyone, and congratulations to all the other recipients.
Thank you, Professor Valentine and Professor Dunn, and congratulations to you, David. Okay, our final awardee hails from the Manufacturing and Mechanical Engineering Technology program. Gloria Tamarez is a dual degree alumni with a bachelor degree in Mechanical Engineering Technology in 2008 and a master's in Manufacturing and Mechanical Systems Integration in 2010. Lori's co-op experience as a student landed her at Delphi Automotive Systems twice. The first time as multi-port fuel injector co-op, and the second time for a project management co-op. In addition, Lori also co-opted at J&J McNeil Pharmaceutical as an environmental engineer. When Lori was completing her capstone project as part of her master's, Lori worked as a staff engineer with a solid oxide fuel cell project in Sims at RIT. Upon graduation, Lori joined Qualitrol in Fairport, New York, as an applications engineer. After a short time, she was promoted to Danaher Business System Leader, and in a little over a year in that role, was again promoted to Director of Operations and Site Leader for Qualitrol plant located in Belfast, Northern Ireland. After spending over 2 years in Ireland, Lori returned to the United States to round out her experience with the company as product manager. Within a year, she was promoted to Director of FBSO with Qualitrol's parent company, Fortive, working on process improvement and efficiency gains and traveling to sites globally. Roughly a year ago, Lori was asked to become the Director of Operations and Site Leader at the headquarters of Qualitrol in Fairport, New York, to work on improving Matrix. Lori is married with a fellow RIT grad, Frank Tamarez, class of engineering 2007. They have 2 young children, a 3-year-old Maya and a 1-year-old Oliver. When asked about her experience at RIT, Lori shares the following. RIT has contributed to my success in many aspects. The rigor, the attention, and the motivation RIT instilled to be a better me each day is why I have succeeded in my job. In the 9 years I have been with my company, I've had 6 positions, each with increasing responsibilities. The fast-paced nature and courses at RIT shaped me to be driven and set high expectations personally and for my team. The groups and clubs I was part of and held leadership positions in were just the beginning of shaping my leadership style. I appreciate RIT and am proud to be a Tiger. It is now my pleasure to introduce the Manufacturing and Mechanical Engineering Department, the Director of Advanced RIT, Professor Betsy Dell, who will share a few words about Lori. Professor Dell.
Thank you, Laureen. I'm really honored to be able to do this, to introduce Lori and say some remarks about her. First, I'd like to congratulate all of the recipients. It is so impressive what you have done in your careers in really a short time. So John, Nick, Tyler, and David, congratulations. So Lori and I first connected when she was involved in the Women in Technology organization that's part of the College of Engineering and Technology. It's an organization that does professional development workshops, has socials, and does a lot of outreach activities to try and encourage young girls to consider careers in engineering and technology. And so Lori would volunteer for those. She would help give the workshops, and we bonded, I think, because we started talking about where we grew up. We grew up in a similar neighborhood. Her high school was down the street from where I lived. And I'm from a big family. I have 12 siblings, and I think Lori may even have more siblings than I do, if I recall correctly. So I got to know her even before she was in my classes. And she was in one of my labs, but where Lori really shined for me was I was her faculty advisor for her master's capstone. And so what the capstone project was to test the biodegradability of biodegradable plastics in a lab setting. So we could do this with our students. And what really impressed me about Lori was her independence, her analytical skills, reliability, and her thoroughness. And it would be, I never had to question, did she get her work done? Is she working on this project? Is she making progress? Because I knew she would be doing that. If she had questions, she'd reach out to me or find out the person to ask. And she was just an exemplar for a student and a pleasure to work with. And with that work, she wrote a paper for the American Society of Engineering Education. So she's a published author with that. And then after she graduated, we've stayed in touch. We'll share some texts. I see pictures of her beautiful children. And the one thing too that happened with Lori is the picture that's actually here. We went out for lunch. I think this is 2 years ago, because I know it wasn't last year with when COVID started. But we went out to lunch and she was telling me about her experiences in Ireland, how she had been asked to take on some new roles. And even when she came back, she was seen as a leader for process improvement and efficiency and would go to different locations of the company to help them improve. So she was seen as a leader and an expert in that area. And she talked a little bit about how when you're asked to take on a new role, how, stepping out of your comfort zone and how can it be uncomfortable, but then once you do it, you learn and grow and you're better because of it. And at the time when we had gone out to lunch, I was looking at a leadership position at RIT, which I now have as Director of Advanced RIT. But the thing that I thought of as I left our lunch was I had been her mentor, but I think at that meeting that we had, she was my mentor. And I think that's something that makes you really proud as an educator, to see that growth, to see her be a leader and doing so well and being such a great role model. And I know she still comes back to RIT. So I'm really thrilled that Lori is in the Rochester area and we can take advantage of that. And I'm glad that she's not only a colleague and a role model, but a friend. And so with that, I'll turn it over to Lori, and again say congratulations, you are a rising star.
Thank you so much, Professor Dell. I really appreciate the comments and the stories. I definitely was a great time at RIT. And thank you, Dr. Ram Kumar, as well, for his guidance, especially during my master's program. RIT really does shape us for the real world. And I truly appreciate everything that the professors did, the conversations outside of just the classwork, but the real world examples that all of my professors would use. And also the support staff, because if it wasn't for all of the different conversations to make us successful every day as a student, we wouldn't succeed in the workforce. And RIT has definitely made it easy to join and to succeed in the workforce. I came from the Rochester City School District. I went to Wilson, and in Wilson, I was a Wildcat, and I had always aspired I need to be a Tiger at RIT, and I was able to get there. I also think that the extracurricular activities that RIT offers, with my sorority, Lambda Pi Chi, with women in technology, with robotics, with LASA, there's so many different programs that we get opportunities to show and to start shaping us for the leaders that we would be once we do join the workforce. I appreciate everyone at RIT. And I definitely had to thank my husband, Frank. He has always been extremely supportive when we were both students at RIT. And also throughout our career, taking the journey to work overseas for a few years. I really appreciate everything that he does. Thank you, RIT. Thank you, all of the professors, support staff, my friends and my family. Thank you all, and congrats to my fellow Rising Star colleagues.
Thank you, Professor Dell, and congratulations to you, Lori. Well, we're coming to the end of our program now, so I'd like to congratulate this amazing group of alumni. And a big thanks to everyone who joined us tonight for helping us celebrate this fantastic class of truly rising stars. Now, before we conclude, I would like to turn the program over once again to Dr. Ram Kumar to make a few closing remarks. Dr. Ram Kumar. You're muted.
Sorry. Thank you, Laureen, for joining us, the College of Engineering Technology, both as our distinguished alumna for 2020-2021, and also as the MC to help us recognize this outstanding group of alumni. I appreciate your time and contributions. It was wonderful to have you, and I look forward to presenting you with the Distinguished Alumni Award in April. CET admires and appreciates all its alumni, and we know how incredibly vital they are to the college and its future. The alumni we recognize today hit the ground running the minute they stepped foot on the RIT campus, and they haven't stopped since graduation. I commend you all, and I'm so proud of you all as well. By using your RIT education, you support and benefit the companies you work for and the customers you serve, whether it's coming up with new products or finding ways to solve problems for them. We couldn't be more proud of you all. I'd also like to thank each of you who are watching tonight, because you have supported, encouraged, and cheered on all our honorees during their years at RIT and the decade beyond. The foundation you have provided has helped them get where they are today. Thank you, and we look forward to watching our honorees continue to do great things for our world. And also, last but not least, thanks to Katie and her team for putting this entire program together and running it seamlessly without any issues. So thank you, and congratulations to all the recipients and to all the participants. And I have to thank all the faculty and staff who have supported our students and continue to do so. In spite of all the hardships with the virus and everything, and they have remained steadfast with their commitment to support our students. So So thank you all and have a wonderful night.